we have to do that's not as fun. Today, we get to talk about some of the good things we're doing. We get to celebrate some of the things we're doing as an industry that is really, really, really powerful. And we can talk about how we can take it another step. And as Jobs4America, that is part of what we do, and we're so excited to talk to you about today. So as we look back to 2012, what were people thinking about before the last election? 50% more were thinking about jobs, thinking about the economy. There were some challenges, right? Remember those days back in early 2012? Fast forward 3 more years, what are the issues? Again, it's jobs, it's the economy. Not an economist, but I have to believe that whoever is going to occupy the White House next has got to make jobs and the economy a part of their agenda. When we look around this room, one thing that's amazing about PACE is PACE was here when Jobs4America got started. It was PACE and many of the members of the room here who are founding members of Jobs4America. And it's this story that we as the contact center industry can talk about. That's a very positive story. And we can bring that energy to politicians, to the media, to turn the conversation away from some of the negative things that we are talking about and what we talked about yesterday, and to the good that we're doing as an industry, and that each of you and your companies are doing. We hire a lot of people. We make an impact on a lot of people's lives. That's something that we don't talk about enough. This isn't a minimum wage job that we offer as an industry. We offer benefits as an industry. We are good jobs, and we provide them for a lot of people all across the country. Thank you for PACE, by the way, for both bringing us here today, but also being a part of the Jobs4America journey from the beginning. We really appreciate the support, and it's really because of PACE that we've gotten this far. I very much appreciate that. When we first started, our goal is, can we quantify what kind of impact do we make as an industry? And we said, well, let's just take a couple years to try to quantify this. And can we prove, can we validate that we can do 100,000 jobs in these first 2 years? So we did. We started working with a site selection group, and they started tracking the jobs, and we started measuring and say, okay, well, we added these, and these shut down, and these closed, and up and down, up and down. And in 2 years, we didn't do 100,000 jobs. We did 176,000 jobs. And that was exciting. Really exciting. And we were able to take that stack, that validated data, we were able to publish different things. We were able to get that out in the media. We were able to start getting, creating a map that we could put on our site so that anyone can come to the Jobs4America site and see where are the jobs. They can look at their state. They can hover over these things and say, okay, look, Comcast just added this many jobs in Massachusetts, and Dial America just added this many jobs in Arizona. And that gave people a sense of perspective of how many jobs are being added quarter after quarter after quarter after quarter. And again, that's not us. That's not what Jobs4America does. All we're doing is helping tell your story. It's you in the room who are adding the jobs. We're just another voice for what you're already doing, the good work that you're doing. As the business case started to fall apart on the offshore jobs, so what started to happen? We had changes in technology. We had an increased cost of labor in some of the other markets in India and the Philippines. We had customers starting to demand more US-based agents for the interactions because some of the calls started to get more complicated. These weren't just simple tech calls that a lot of us deal with. We're trying to take a customer interaction and really understand, what is that customer talking about? How do I sell that customer, or how do I put them into the right size package? And it wasn't nationalism that started bringing these jobs back, it was economics. It just made sense. It made sense in terms of how we can keep our customers, how we can add our customers. It just made business sense to keep bringing those jobs back. So what we did, and what we do as Jobs4America, is we just keep taking your work and publishing it. And we go out there and we talk about it. This is what we're doing. This is the work that the people in this room are doing. And we make that case over and over and over. We get to participate in things like the White House panel when we talk about insourcing. That's there, again, on behalf of the industry. We get to interact with these politicians and talk about how we are doing good work every day as a group. We publish, we get to work with the media. So again, we're a small group, but just by taking the stories that you have and that you tell us, and the more you tell us your stories, the more we can go out there and celebrate those stories. But we're getting things like ABC World News Tonight to talk about Jobs4America, to talk about the U.S. contact center industry. We're getting USA Today. We're getting picked up by the AP. It's very exciting to see the traction that we're getting when we talk about the successes that we have as an industry and the great work that you're doing. We've published some white papers. Again, we don't have to invent things. You all have the stories, you have your own data. Help us get that data and help us put that into white papers and help us get that to politicians and to the media and academia. Help us keep spreading the word about what you're doing. We've been able to give what we call Spirit of America awards. For those of you who were here last year, we gave Emanuel Cleaver II a Spirit of America award. This is the 5th District in Missouri Congressman. In his district, in his staunch support of this industry, 3,400 jobs created in just his district. Then we can also look around, and it's almost, the challenge is who to give the awards to, because everybody here probably knows a district or an area or somebody who deserves this, because we are creating so many jobs. We went to Michigan a little bit over a year ago. Governor Snyder and Doug Kearney and from Dialogue Direct and Michael Finney from the Michigan Economic Development, 3,800 jobs in just that one area. About a third of them came from one company, one contact center company. How many of you have created 1,500 and 2,000 jobs in a period of time? And we just need to know your stories and understand how we can partner with you better to get those stories out there and celebrate your successes. So where do we go? Why am I here today? What are we going to talk about? Why is Stedman here? What is going on? Well, what is this triple play that we're thinking about? And I'm sorry, it's the cable background in me that makes me talk about triple plays. That's mostly Jane's fault. Where do we go? Well, I think we're in a really interesting situation. We have a whole room of people who have jobs to give, jobs to fill. And then we know when we look out there, there's all these people who want jobs, who want to work. Well, how do we connect those dots? And how do we take it just one step further? And how do we help those people become better at their jobs, to understand who they are, so that they can do better in training and do better when they work for us? And that's what Stedman's going to talk about. He's going to talk about identity. And he's going to talk about bringing this to your communities. How do we help in your communities? Whether we take a long-term vision, we look at the students who are going to work for us in the future, and how do we get them thinking about their identity? And what is their place in the world? And what are they going to do? Or is it your trainees as they're starting to work for you? And how do we get them to take one step back? And it's not just about learning a billing system or a contact center platform. But what are they going to do? What does it mean to have this job? What does it mean to have control of your life? How do we do that? How do we inspire that? We think we have some really strong content. And Stedman's going to talk at length about that. How do we help shape this future workforce and deliver those people? It's all about the people. We know we need a steady supply of people to keep doing what we do. We know our industry is unique in that we are a people-based business, right? Whether you're trying to sell something or whether you're trying to take care of your customers, all the systems and technology in the world doesn't work if we don't have the right people. So what are our challenges? What are our labor pains? We all know the Jim Collins quote, right? We need to get the right people on the bus. We need to get the wrong people off the bus. We need to put people in the right seats. That's part of where we're headed with Jobs4America. How do we help you do that? We don't know all the answers. We're looking to have more conversations with you in the room on how do we do this better? How do we work with you and your companies and you and your communities to help you get those right people and to help you get them on the bus? We know, especially I know there's a lot of compliance people in the room. When the wrong people are on the bus, bad things happen, right? And it's expensive these days. From the fines to the regulatory actions we were talking about, the lawsuits. We don't want that. We need the right people doing the right things consistently. And that comes down to each person individually and working together as a group to help achieve these missions that you're setting out in your different businesses. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That's the approach that we're taking here. And we're trying to help give you that prevention by working with your people. So joining us today, we're going to have 3 people come up here. And actually I'm going to ask them to come on up here while I introduce them. Kevin Hegbar is the VP of Marketing with Higher IT Solutions. Jeff Sheehan, many of you know him for a lot of years. He's the Senior Vice President of Site Selection Group, and they are the group who are doing our research. And then I'm really excited also, not that I'm not excited about the other 2 people, about Caitlin Cadella. She's with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, specifically the Center for Education and Workforce. And as they're coming up, I want to give just 10 statements of fact that I think might resonate with you in terms of your businesses. Are we challenged? I think we are challenged with having a steady supply of workers for the roles that we're hiring for. There is a challenge out there. The turnover rates in our industry are too high, especially compared to other industries. Are there some contact centers that hit 25, 30, 35% annual turnover? Sure. But a lot of us are not. And on the BPO side, 100, 200, 300% in some of our work, it's too high. What's going